Hey everybody, it's your girl Nadia, also known as Urban Farm Sister. So I wanted to answer a few questions that kept popping up on my video when I was suggesting that people don't collect seeds from the store-bought produce. So the first question was, where can you purchase seeds if you're not going to collect seeds from the produce? Well, you can purchase seeds from a number of different places. The grow season is just starting right now. And so there's a number of places that are going to have seeds available. If they don't have them available now, they're going to have them available shortly. So this is places like the grocery stores, hardware stores, department stores, garden centers, even dollar stores sell seeds. And you can purchase seeds from any of these locations and you will do well with what you grow. There's also organizations, possibly organizations in your city that may be giving seeds away, such as churches or garden organizations, places like that. So you can call around and see if they have seeds available. A lot of times libraries have seeds available. So you can call and see if your library is giving away seeds and things like that. Now, if you can't physically go to a location, you can actually purchase seeds offline. And there's a number of different seed companies that will sell you seeds online. Or they will mail you out a catalog and you can order from that catalog either over the phone or, visit their website. You can also purchase seeds off places like eBay and Amazon, but I would suggest if you're new to purchasing seeds that you kind of stay away from those sites unless it's one of those big seed corporations that are selling on those sites. Reason being, there's a lot of sellers that just kind of sell anything, and they will do false advertisement and saying, certain seeds will produce these certain crops, and it's just not true. An example would be, I've seen a lot of times on there where they advertise where you can buy seeds for purple and blue and rainbow colored watermelons. Those just don't even exist in the world. And so for them to advertise that and then people to actually believe it, it's kind of sad to me. But people every year they get duped and they'll buy those seeds. And what'll happen is, of course, it won't grow any of those color watermelons. It'll most likely be a red flesh watermelon, or the seeds are just duds and they just won't grow at all because they're probably old and things anyway. So again, if you're not experienced with buying seeds off of eBay and Amazon, I would suggest that you just stay clear of those and purchase seeds or get seeds from those other means as I suggested. Now, my other question was about if they purchase seeds, are they going to be getting GMO seeds? So the average consumer is not going to have access to genetically modified or genetically engineered seeds. The grocery stores and things that I mentioned, they do not sell those types of seeds at their facilities. GMO seeds are mostly sold to large-scale commercial farmers because they're growing on a large scale a lot of the commodity crops that are bought and sold here in the United States. So a lot of the produce that you purchase at the grocery store, which I didn't even touch on that in my video, is genetically modified produce. Things like corn, soybean, even papaya, and a number of other different crops. They do have genetically modified versions of that. So if you're purchasing produce, you may encounter produce that is genetically modified at the stores. The reason that genetically modified seeds are not available to the average consumer is because the companies that grow those plants that produce those seeds, they put a lot of money into that research, and they do not want that technology just be getting out to any and everybody. And so what they do is that they have these farmers that they sell seeds to sign these contracts saying that they will buy seeds from them every year, and at the end of the grow seasons, they will not keep seed and grow it the following year. So basically, these companies will go in to these farms that they sold seeds to, and at the end of the season, they will come and confiscate any seeds that they did not plant, and they will also confiscate any produce on the field that has produced seeds. They will take that, and then the following year that farmer has to purchase seeds again from them. Now, there's a gray area that lies here, is because if your farm or garden is close to one of these commercial farms that are growing genetically modified crops, your crops could be contaminated with pollen from these genetically modified crops. I'm going to use corn as an example because corn has a lot of genetically modified options available for these commercial farmers. So say I was a gardener and my garden was within a mile of one of these big commercial farms, and I was also growing corn the same time they were growing corn. If their corn started releasing pollen and that pollen got into the air and it drifted onto my garden, it could possibly pollinate my corn at that same time. And now my corn is going to exhibit the genetics of that genetically modified corn from that commercial farm. So what will happen is that these companies that sold the GMO corn to that big commercial company, they're going to be scouting around that territory within a certain mile radius of any farms or any residents that are growing crops that are similar to that crop that commercial farm is growing. They're going to come around and they're going to confiscate your crop. So if you're growing corn and your corn could possibly be contaminated with that pollen from that commercial farm, they're going to come and take your corn. And they can do it because they look at it as it's their property now, because that pollen contaminated, or that pollen pollinated your corn. And so now that's basically their plant. And it has happened a lot of times to a lot of farmers, a lot of gardeners. So just be aware of that. That's how you can inadvertently get genetically modified crops. But they're going to come and confiscate them off your property. And they can do it. They do it all the time. So another question I get is, okay, I want to save seeds. How do I do that? So if you're going to save seeds, I would suggest that you purchase seeds that say on the packet either heirloom or open pollinated. If they say F1 or if it says hybrid on there, if you try to save seeds from those F1 or hybrid varieties, what's going to happen when you plant those seeds the following year, you're not going to get that same produce or that same fruit that you produced that previous year. Also, if you're going to do seed saving, I would suggest that you only grow one variety of a particular plant. I know a number of different gardeners and farmers, they may grow a number of different varieties of a crop. But what that does, if you're growing, say, like 2 different types of tomatoes or 2 different types of watermelons, that's going to cause a cross-pollination because the bees and the other insects that pollinate those crops, they don't care that you're growing 2 different varieties. They just see flowers and they're going to be visiting flowers, and that as a result of that, they're going to be cross-pollinating a lot of these crops. So if you're going to save seeds, you want to just grow one variety of each plant. So you just want to grow one variety of tomatoes, one variety of watermelon, so that you don't have that cross-pollination, because what you're producing are hybrids if you have a number of different varieties that can cross-pollinate with one another. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments, or you can send me a DM and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Bye.